Today's episode of the More You Know podcast is brought to you by CrowdQuestion, a brand new social communication platform focused on connecting crowds to bring everyone closer to their community, as well as enhancing any occasion. Rather than being a social media platform focused on content and advertising, they're focused on communication and connection. Learn more about the platform and download the app free at crowdquestion.com.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
Today's
More
You
No
podcast.
Today I want to break down what it looks like when you avoid responsibility as well as when you become responsible. As John C. Maxwell describes in his book, Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. Responsibility is really a make or break concept. You're either responsible or irresponsible, and however you are dictates the actions you take and the outcomes that occur in your life. What it comes down to is the life we have is the only life we get here on Earth, and because of that it's not a dress rehearsal. Every minute wasted is gone forever, and every mistake you make from being irresponsible can't be changed. But while you can't go back in time and change it, you can make the choice to make a change and become more responsible. In life we can either choose to take responsibility or make excuses, and if you choose to face reality and take responsibility, you'll be able to improve and get better day by day. So I first want to break down what it looks like when you avoid responsibility, and then from there explain what happens when we learn to become responsible. So the first thing that happens when we avoid responsibility is that we develop a victim mentality. Those who take on a victim mentality, rather than taking responsibility for their lives, they try to take the easy way out by establishing themselves as victims, whether it be a victim of society, the economy, a conspiracy, or some alleged discrimination. A victim mindset causes people to focus on what they cannot control rather than what they can control, which is obviously a recipe for continued failure. The second thing that happens when we avoid responsibility is that we have an unrealistic perspective of how the world works. Life doesn't always work out how we expect it to, and along with that we often compare our journeys to others. The issue with both of these is that they're unrealistic, because everybody's different, and no one's perfect having everything work out perfectly. From here, number 3 is that we constantly engage in blame storming. Those who regularly don't take responsibility for themselves often find themselves regularly blaming others. Next, number 4 is that we give away the choice to control our lives. When we don't take responsibility for our lives, we have no control over our lives. And finally, the 5th thing that happens is that we eliminate any possibility for growth or success. If we're never taking responsibility, acting as a victim, who's constantly blaming others, we're never taking time to grow, which is essential to success. Going through these 5 things that happen when you avoid responsibility in life shows that being irresponsible clearly hinders your life. With this being said, it's vital to become responsible, and I now want to explain what happens when we learn to become responsible. The first thing that happens is we take our first step in learning. The second thing that happens is that we see things in their proper perspective. Part of taking responsibility is looking at honest reality, and by doing so you'll gain the proper perspective. After that, number 3 is that we stop repeating our failures. By being responsible, we put time and effort into growth, and therefore move forward from our failures. From here, number 4 is that we grow stronger. Every time you take responsibility and move forward despite experiencing losses, failures, mistakes, and disappointments, you become stronger. And finally, the 5th thing that happens is that we back up our words with our behavior. By taking responsibility, we not only talk the talk, but you also walk the walk. Taking responsibility is an essential part of a well-lived life. If you're irresponsible, countless issues will arise and you'll never grow from them. But if you exhibit responsibility, you'll still face issues, but you'll move forward from them getting better. By doing so, it will allow you to live a life that's fulfilling, joyful, well-balanced, and filled with success, which is the avenue towards making a tremendous impact in this world and crafting a life of significance. I hope this talk makes a positive impact in your life. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening or watching it. Check out other episodes. Leave a review. Follow the podcast on social media at More You Know Pod, and sign up for CrowdQuestion to ask me questions about the episode. Again, thank you for listening as we propel through podcasting with the More You Know.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
Today's
More
You
No
podcast.